Welcome to Charlie in Sotogrande's podcast. I'm here today with a friend as well as a lawyer. His name is Antonio Sanchez. He is from Gonzalez Sanchez Partners and has an enormous amount of experience in everything to do with legalities. And he's come along here to be on my new podcast, which is where you dive into everything with people and the places and the passions that make Sotogrande community it is today. Antonio, very welcome.
Thank you. Very kind invitation.
So let's start with a question I ask anybody who comes onto the podcast. Okay, how would you introduce yourself to somebody who has never met you?
Okay, then I would say I'm Antonio Sanchez. I'm lawyer, Spanish lawyer. Well, I'm working here for more than, more than 25 years.
25 years.
Yes, now we are here for 25 years. And I'm living here in Sotogrande. My parents has a house. They have a house in Sotogrande for more than 30 years.
Okay, so you're a child, you're a boy here.
And we say, okay, I'm here and grow up here. Now I live here. I have my kids here. So I've been living all my life here. So
Okay, so you're local.
yes, I'm from Algeciras. Okay.
Okay, nice.
And we used to go to the school there, everything, but we live here for many, many years now.
Okay. What is it that you love about Sotogrande and that after all these years of being here, obviously it's home, it's where your parents brought you up. What is it that you love about it that keeps you here?
In Sotogrande, live for the sports life and family life. So I think that there are the 2 points that make that now people is coming to Sotogrande looking for that.
Yeah.
And it's like all kind of sports that that we have here, everything, and open to everybody is true. And then it's a family place where a lot of family live with kids, and it's quiet place, security.
Yeah.
So it's a place where everybody wants, no?
It is. But I think there are challenges in a lot of that. Sotogrande is unique. I've lived here now permanently for since 2005, so nearly 20 years, although I did know it from way back. And I've seen a lot of changes going on in Sotogrande. What are the ones that strike you most as the changes, and let's say in the last 20 years?
Of course, a lot of people living now here.
Mhm.
Everything that has grown behind Sotogrande, like Pueblo Nuevo, all this area that now is amazing, and they have everything. Now we have supermarkets. We have everything that years ago. Supermarkets. There's is a long time ago. 20 years ago, we had nothing, or you have the car shop or the garage. There's Manos Diaz is the one that is still there. Valeria no Motor, but now you have many, many things, restaurants.
Yeah.
Is that we had the key bar is where we used to go to play pool, and now you cannot play pool there. I said,
Cute.
that's true. You have to go in, and well, of course, a lot of good things.
Yeah.
For much more people are living all the year here.
Yeah.
It's not only a seasonal area where we used to come on in summer,
Mhm.
and now it's not. Everybody live here all the year, and that's amazing. That's very good.
Because from a real estate point of view, last year we also had Rita Jordao from Sotogrande say we're having this conversation, and she said we sold to 19 different nationalities, and I could say I sold to 22 vendors and sellers. But that, I think, is one of the biggest changes. Is that Spanish.
Now it's just only Spanish and British.
Yeah.
In the past, they were British. That for us were the Guiris, and we have the people from Madrid. More,
Yeah.
90% of the Spanish people used to come from it. Now that's true. Now we have all kind of nationalities. Are coming a lot of Polish. They're coming a lot of Belgium a lot, and we have all European and non-European clients coming to Sotogrande.
Yeah. So that's a big change. I mean, I see it a lot from people from Marbella coming here now as well. If you were in Marbella 30 years ago and you were 30 years old, today you're 60 years old. And Marbella is not the Marbella that you went to. And Sotogrande is more like that. I think
That is a place where they used to come and they were quiet. They have their restaurants that they know, and it's not open new things that they close. That is, it's now. So the Marbella is totally different now. And that's why they're moving. No, so Marbella is like growing to this side of.
Okay, one last question on lifestyle. Not a work day. What is your ideal day?
Trying to play golf, if possible. Of course, to play paddle.
That's your thing. No,
Yeah.
paddle is your.
Paddle is what I like more to play, and I try to play golf, but not too much. And then is just to go to the sun to have a beer,
Yeah.
and then some terrace. That is the best thing to do.
I know, kick back with the family. So you're very normal.
Yeah, that is fine. We're not doing anything strange here.
Fine. Let's get into a little bit more of what you do. Tell us about your work and the business. How long has Gonzalez Sanchez been a firm as such? Did you start in somewhere else before that? And how maybe has that the firm changed? I mean, I know you were in Gibraltar, maybe not now. You're in Marbella. I saw it's expanded. It's not. How did you get to where you are today?
I started days with in Gonzalez Sanchez and Partners. That used to be Gonzalez, yes, from a partner from Joaquin, and he's here. I think that since 1999. I think so. And then I came in 2001. I started with him, and 2001, 2000, yes. When I finished my university, I came here and then did a degree in urban law in Seville,
Oh, yeah.
the master there, and then I started here working with Luis Babiano. That is one of the
All-time lawyers.
lawyers in the area. So I started with him with us because relationship with my parents and things like that. I was with him a few months, and then I started to work with Joaquin,
Okay.
and since then there.
Yeah.
Of course, when I started, we had opened in Marbella in those times. The first office I was in Marbella, and now we are here in Sotogrande. We have moved to a bigger one. We're in Marbella, and now we're in Palma also.
Mhm.
And of course, when we started, I don't know, we were like 4 or 5 people, and now we are 20 something, more than 20 people. And of course, it's a lot of business and it's food.
I mean, we obviously work with you, Noll, Sotogrande, when we have clients, and particularly the German clients, because Joachim is, I think he's a bit German stuff. He's more German stuff. So do you have a lot of foreigners mostly, or is it
Yes, mostly we have 99% are
99%?
99% are foreign.
Okay, wow.
So we work for non-resident or resident, but foreign. Yeah.
Okay. And you also do at the firm support with tax advice, and that's what they say. Not only lawyers, you are.
No, we are tax expert, and it's not only lawyers and that is what I think that is one of our hardest point is to have that really big team in taxes that makes easy to that we keep the client with us. That is not only to do the purchase of a property, if not that after that they stay with us for the taxes, and most of them come because they are worried about taxes. What people worries are taxes. No?
Yeah, absolutely. No. And also it's a good thing because when you bring up, I mean, I have a client, I say, where do I take them? If there's anything to do with tax, we go to you because, you have someone who's very qualified in Joaquin particularly. He knows his stuff very well and, keeps people not safe, but comfortable. Well, they're doing the right thing.
That's the idea. That the people needs to, when you talk about money or about taxes, people they need to feel to trust you, and to understand that they are in good hands and they cannot be worried because they use most of them come here like a holiday place, and it's not to be worried about if I'm paying my taxes properly in Spain or not. And of course, they have to do, and then yes, that's what we try that this they do properly and to have all idea about all their assets on the wall, and then you have an idea if you have to pay taxes in Spain for what or not, if you are resident, if you are non-resident, and that is what our tax department do. And okay,
sure. So Antonio, talking about businesses and how you advise your clients, how can a good lawyer make the process easier for anyone wanting to buy real estate, particularly international buyers real estate? How can you make it easier for them?
Well, the way to make it easy for them or easier is that first of all is to know about the previous title deed, and then with that
Previous title deed,
the previous title deed of the property they're interested in. Then we go to the land registry, obtain a nota simple, and then on there we can see who is the owner, if there is any kind of charges on that, and after that to organize private contract to be signed. Normally, it's a deposit contract or private contract with a deposit, and then organize everything to go to the notary, and after that to register the property on their behalf at the land registry.
So what you're telling me is it's important to understand the process. As a lawyer, you would advise the client how to do that and to ensure that the property is one that is got everything correct.
Yes.
Okay. And that, you go on like that. Do you know any anecdotes of where things have, without mentioning names, where things have gone wrong? What is just maybe some, fun, just
No, there could be sometimes that happen, or of you here that happen, things that there is that suddenly people, because they don't know, and suddenly appear a charge on the last minute.
Okay.
And because of course now we can't sign a private contract today, then we're going to complete in 4-6 months, and maybe in this period of time appear any kind of charge because there was a debt with the ground tax or something like that, and appear the day that you go to the notary, we apply again for a new land, not a simple, it's a certificate from the land registry, and we receive the same day that you are going to complete.
Yeah.
And they appear there, and then you have to solve in the last minute, like, okay, what shall we do with this? No, it's like, okay.
So got a mess, and you have to fix it at the last minute. At the mess of the day, so if not, you get extensions or everything else. But the idea is to get it right. So that's the piece of advice there. You would have.
We have to have everything ready in advance, and then we go try to do that. Yes.
Okay, so just in summary, what are the most critical checks you think or need to be performed, all right, in terms of due diligence to clear the property's ownership, okay? And so it doesn't have any encumbrances. I think you mentioned nota simple. Is that the one?
Yes, well, the nota simple is where it's going to give you the information about any kind of charges that could be at the land registry, that there are charges because debts, mortgages, loans. Of course, you see who is the owner, the real owner of the property, and then sometimes happens that they are married, there is a couple, and then you have to see that both of them has to sign,
Yeah.
to sell, and it's a critical document that where you follow everything. Of course, after that you have to also check with the community rules if there is something wrong with the community. That's why we ask for the debts and everything about community fees that everything is paid. A few other things, but the main things that the nota simple give you a lot of information that we can start to work with.
Okay. I heard of a property here in Sotogrande, in Pedro Grande. There's an old house that was there that somehow some crook managed to sell it. So, this is what I think a lot of international people come worry about is, that I know that's exceptional.
That's exceptional, but and of course, as far as I know, the person that sold that property, he went with a false ID.
Yes.
And then went to the notary. So it's many things, because at the end, of course, I understand that everywhere is if you are registered like the owner and you go with ID showing that
Yeah, I know.
this is me and yourself, not easy to find. That's why I always say that it's really, really good and really important and consider that you look for a local estate agent or you look for a local lawyer, because we know a lot, and people that we have been working like us for more than 20 years. That plot that you are talking about, you know the owner. I know the owner.
Yeah, sure, I know.
So
How did it go on the market?
and I know who is the lawyer's, the vendor's lawyer, who is the owner's lawyer. I know him because in the past we had few offers for that property, and I know who I must talk to. That is the lawyer. And in this case, of course, that lawyer didn't know. So
Yeah, of course, I know what's going on, and they got him when he's in jail. This guy, Akada.
what? There is a still in court. Again court.
There you go. I mean, when I play golf, when that's you see the house there, because of course it's one of the nicest bloody plots, and yeah, I know. So the house is a mess, but it's very old,
Yes, no, yes, but like only the plot is a really nice place.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think we've mixed up a little bit in terms of what we're talking about, but what are some of the common pitfalls and challenges that buyers face during the process? What's the most common pitfall?
Well, I think the most common pitfall with the people is that they don't do the proper due diligence on the properties, and because they don't look for the proper people, or I don't. But at the end is that I think that and to understand where is the real cost to have a property here. We're in a community, and people, they must know where are the real costs.
Yeah.
And sometimes you see a property, you love the property, and you want to buy, and the price is in your average where you can buy. But later they come to you and say, oh, but the community fees are 1,000 euros every month, or you have to pay a ground tax and EV every year. Or no, but now you as non-resident, you have to pay a tax every year. It's a non-resident tax that you pay every year. Oh, and you have not done those figures.
Yeah.
And then at the end you are like, oops, you have a mortgage and you have a community, and then oops, it could be it's not a holiday home. It's you have a headache.
Yeah.
And that's.
I mean, I think that it's the responsibility also of the real estate agent to do that. I mean, one of the things I do all the time is ensure that the budget is understood. It's not €1 million because I want €1 million house. €1 million suddenly becomes plus 7% because there's a tax, okay? And then there's a lawyer to pay. Then there is the registration. There's a notary to pay. Then you have to start thinking about the things you just mentioned, that there is a community to pay here in Sotogrande, as well as your EB, which is the property tax to the local town hall. Okay, then you have, guess what? This garden. Here, you need a gardener. You need someone to clean your pool, which a lot of people don't have gardens and pools in Northern Europe, and they come here on that. So, I mean, that's a cost. So, the real budget all of a sudden is not 1, it's 1.2.
Or is. No, and of course, and people that they come, and sometimes happens that when you ask for the money to buy and say, oh, you have to transfer the money to buy, and then you say, and the transfer that is 7%, and you say, and the notary fees, and the library fees, and it's like, oops. And then, you must know since the first day work, to know where the real cost of having owning a property here, or to know how much you have to pay. It's not too much the taxes, but it's money that you have to pay every year, on the non-resident tax, or the EB, or the ground tax. You need to know about.
Yeah, sure. So those are things that I always ask in terms of budget, but I also ask them to get some sort of pre-approval on a mortgage if they're going for a mortgage, because that saves them so much time as well. If they understand that I can go to a bank and the bank will give me probably, if you're foreigner, up to 60%, 70%, then a little bit more, maybe depends on their circumstances. Okay. But to have a piece of paper saying, look, I'm pretty sure I can get that, you have the comfort as the buyer to go and start looking seriously, because there's no point going to say, I love this house, let's go see if I can afford it.
And that happens a lot. A lot of people that they look for a property, and then they say, no, but I'm going to ask them. And when you go to the bank, they have their own rules, and they say, oh, you have to earn this amount of money, and then you have to have that everything. And it's good to have that pre-approval of a mortgage or something that we can go through.
Yeah. How do tax obligations differ from a resident and a non-resident in Sotogrande?
Well, the main thing, ground tax and all the local taxes are the same for everybody.
Yeah.
And then I understand that the main difference there is that the non-resident has to pay a tax also if they are not renting the property. They have only for owning that property in Spain, you pay a non-resident tax that is calculated on the cadastral value. If that cadastral value has not been actualized in the last 10 years, then you 2% of that value, and on that you pay 19% if you are EU citizen, or 24% if you are non-EU citizen. Okay. So then that's the main difference between the resident and the non-resident. Well, of course, if you are going to apply for a mortgage, it's the same. A non-resident, normally they give a lower percentage than if you are a resident.
Yeah. Because a lot of my clients try and rent their properties, okay, and they understand this 19% of something, and sometimes they don't use them. Maybe if it's in a company name and they don't use them, then obviously the tax man's going to say something's going on here, because there's a company with a house that's just draining money, who's using that house, or who is that house being rented to. So is there a contract with something, or that can be very confusing, I think, for
yes. And normally if it's but there's, in the example that you say, is when it's owned by a company, a Spanish company. In that case, yes, tax authorities consider that it's just to be at disposal of the director of the company. You pay taxes on that. It's like a rent.
Yeah.
That, and they calculate, and you have to pay taxes on that. And if you are directly the owner, like non-resident, you're directly the owner, you also pay your non-resident tax.
Sure. Yeah. Antonio, a lot of people watching this will be British, and they have if they're looking at buying in Spain, is that they were probably Remainers, not leavers. Okay. And one of the things that upsets them a lot is now, for example, you mentioned they, as British citizens, we had to pay higher taxes than a resident of Spain or a EU 19 and 25, I think you said. So they're being prejudiced. Since Brexit, have you seen the British demand come down?
I really don't think now the demand come down.
But it has since
It has,
Brexit, but not in the last 2 years.
yes, that
It was
is
stabilized.
yes. Now I think now is we have the same as last year. No, in the last 2 years it's more or less the same. It's true that they have the work, and with the news that suddenly the government, the president, prime minister says, "Oh, taxes for the non-EU things like that." Okay, everybody's worried about that, but people continue investing, buying here. You have to explain to them what happens. Until now, until April, we had that golden visa,
Yeah.
where you could apply for that golden visa. We have until April when you invest more than €500,000 in a property, for example, and that they have abolished that since I think it's April now. So, but there's other people, if they are retired or they want to come here like a non-lucrative visa, they could also come.
So there are other options for
There are other options. You can go through the non-lucrative visa, or if they are working and they work online, like a lot of people do now, they have that nomad visa. So there are other options for them that is really possible to stay here more than those 90 days in the last 180 days. No, that's the rules say.
because I mean, a lot of people come here and are under the radar, and they really shouldn't be here. And I think that's wrong. And no, but there are solutions, like you say. Of course, there are lucrative visa. That would be someone who doesn't work, who wants to retire, and you can do so.
There is because people that you have money enough to live here. You don't need to be rich. You just have enough money to live here. It's like you have your pension there. You can
Self-sufficient, they have a pension.
yes, you have your pension. You have here you have to need a private health insurance. Of course, I know criminal report saying that you're a good guy.
Oh,
That's a few things that are normal, and you can obtain that. It's not something that is possible. And we do.
Okay, so let's try and summarize that. What would you say are your top 3 advices you would give to any buyer to ensure a smooth property purchase? The top 3.
Look for local real estate. Look for a local lawyer, and look for a local financial advisor.
Okay. Cheapest in house.
That is, of course, is that, yes, that's to check that the property you are buying comply with all the local rules, like the urban rules. That's really important to cover that with the community, and that you cannot have a complaint against your ownership in the future. No, the idea is that you can relax and enjoy your home here or your property here, not having any value.
Well, thank you for all that information. Let's get on to a little bit more about Sotogrande itself and its future. How do you see Sotogrande in the next 5, maybe 10 years? Because I look at the map all the time, and I think it says Sotogrande, and it's a finite geographical area. But people, the Zagaleta people bought it next to Sotogrande, and San Roque Golf Club is next to Sotogrande, and they use the name Sotogrande,
But it's not Sotogrande.
but it's not Sotogrande.
There is. They use Sotogrande name, or the name of Sotogrande, but it's not Sotogrande because security we have here around, and you have so the streets, everything is different here. And
But in 5 years' time,
by 3 years' time, I see Sotogrande. I think that Sotogrande has still land to continue building, selling, and I hope that now we have to start to renew old houses. That those, because now we have houses from the 70s or 80s that nowadays is what people are looking for, and then you can renew that and do some reformer works there. That will be the future. I hope that, and soon will come a new school in the area. I hope so.
do you think, I know it's a national school.
Yes, I think all this international school we have will continue growing, because we know
Building more now.
they're building more, and then so that's why, and that bring families to live here. So then, and of course, that will help to that all local business will continue growing. I think that we have in the next 10 years, this will continue growing and with fantastic views to the future.
If you could change one thing about Sotogrande, what could it be?
August.
August in Sotogrande is very difficult for residents that are here year round, isn't it?
Yes, but it's true that we have a fantastic polo tournament that is really famous, and it's really you can enjoy that only in August.
I hope it continues. I know there's a big question mark about the size of it. I think it always a polo. I mean, the Yala people can do their thing, but I understand all that area around there. Zebinos is old and not sold.
Has been sold.
Yeah.
Sold, or Santander now has. And well, but the idea is that they will continue keeping some of the polo courts there. Polo fields will continue, and of course, Ayala will take care of that because they're doing really well in the last years. So that they will continue.
Okay. What is one mistake you see people make when they first arrive?
They find the right professional people late.
And regret not having it done in the first place.
It's that happens a lot. That people come, I don't know, with people from other areas, and they come here, and this is a village.
Yeah.
We know each other, and we know everybody here, and think that they must come with trusting the people that will live here and having that, and you don't need to look professionals or people other way of thinking that you are going to save money for those Sotogrande is so expensive, everything's expensive, and we are the most expensive people in there. No, that's not true, and you can come and trust people here that is really professional people here.
Oh, there are many indeed. My last question, therefore, Antonio, if you had to sum up Sotogrande in one sentence, what would that be?
The luxury with the feet on the ground.
So people are settled, and
yes,
that's what luxury is.
Yes, and here no people, not of the people, yes, and they don't like to show what they have.
Okay.
No, this is low profile. Yes, it's a low profile people, most of them. Yeah.
Well, Antonio, thank you very much for being with me.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
And if anybody wants a good lawyer, there's Antonio, Gonzalez Sanchez and Partners. Their offices are in the Port of Sotogrande. You'll find them on their website, of course, and very easy to get hold of. Antonio Sanchez of Gonzalez Sanchez and Partners.
Thank you.